It's all covered in today's China Truths.
Recently, many parts of mainland China have been hit by an unprecedented heat wave, with heat stroke becoming a trending topic online. In the past week alone, the 120 Emergency Center in Changsha, Hunan, dispatched ambulances 105 times due to heat-related illnesses. In Shenzhen, over 120 people called 120 emergency services due to heat stroke within just 30 days. Online rumors claim that a crematorium in Hebei cremated over 160 bodies in 2 days, and a small county in Shandong has over 100 people waiting for cremation services. Some netizens say hundreds have died from the heat in Linyi, and residents in various regions report multiple deaths due to extreme heat. 122 people in Shenzhen called 120 for heat stroke in 30 days. On July 7th, Guangdong News via Tencent Video reported that according to data from the Shenzhen Emergency Medical Center, from June 7 to the present, 122 people in Shenzhen called 120 for heat stroke in the span of a month. Of those, 78 were taken to hospitals for emergency treatment, and 9 cases were classified as severe. Most incidents occurred outdoors, in high-temperature settings like construction sites and food service areas. The progression of symptoms usually follows the pattern: prodromal heat exhaustion, mild heat exhaustion, and then severe heat stroke, with the most critical stage being heat stroke. Doctors emphasize that heat stroke is extremely dangerous, with a mortality rate of up to 70%. If a patient's body temperature is not effectively reduced within 6 hours, the likelihood of multi-organ failure rises to 83%. For every 0.5 degrees C increase in body temperature, the mortality rate triples. Physicians noted that young and middle-aged adults are the primary affected group. Guangdong issues 142 high-temperature warnings on July 8th. On July 8th, a total of 142 high-temperature warning signals were in effect across Guangdong province. In Shenzhen, temperatures ranged from 33 degrees to 37 degrees, with heat indices feeling scorching to extreme. Guangzhou also continued to experience persistent high temperatures. The city's meteorological bureau issued an orange-level heat warning for July 8th, stating that the perceived daytime temperature would reach 40 degrees. By 10 o'clock a.m., the blazing sun had already driven surface temperatures outdoors to over 60 degrees C. According to Sina Finance, on July 6th, the emergency department of the 3rd Affiliated Hospital of Guangzhou Medical University, Huangpu Campus, received a 34-year-old man suffering from heat cramps due to severe heat. Upon arrival, the man was experiencing full-body convulsions, muscle weakness, and undetectable blood pressure. He was diagnosed with kidney damage and rhabdomyolysis, muscle breakdown. After emergency treatment, he was stabilized and transferred to the intensive care unit for further observation. Surge in heat stroke-related emergency calls across many regions. According to a July 6 report by Shanxiang Metropolitan Daily, Changsha's 120 Emergency Center dispatched ambulances 105 times in the past week due to heat stroke and related conditions. The ICU at Changsha's traditional Chinese medicine hospital has recently admitted 5 patients suffering from severe heat stroke. Since the beginning of this year, Nanjing's emergency services have received 138 calls related to heat stroke, an increase compared to the same period last year. The head dispatcher explained, "Just since July, we've treated 65 patients requiring emergency care due to heat stroke, including several severe heat stroke cases." Wenzhou Evening News reported that a truck driver suffered heat stroke after the temperature inside his vehicle soared above 41 degrees, causing him to fall unconscious. He was rushed to the hospital, where doctors diagnosed him with heat stroke. The official Wuhan Release public account reported that on the afternoon of July 5th, a 73-year-old man in Wuhan's Jianghan district collapsed from heat stroke and fell into a coma after refusing to use air conditioning during a prolonged heat wave, relying only on an electric fan. He was later diagnosed with heat stroke. Hebei and Shandong netizens, over 160 bodies cremated in 2 days, small-town crematorium has over 100 waiting in line. A netizen from Hebei commented, "An elderly relative in my family just passed away and was cremated today. By 11 a.m. this morning, over 40 bodies had already been cremated, and the queue had reached number 90. The staff said they cremated more than 70 bodies yesterday. This kind of weather is deadly for the elderly." A netizen from Shandong said, "In recent days, the crematorium in our small county has been overwhelmed with over 100 people in line." Shandong netizens, hundreds dead from the heat in Linyi. One Shandong resident wrote, "Hundreds have died from the heat in Linyi." And, "My mom told me today that 3 elderly people in our village died from the heat on the same day. One of them had mistakenly set the air conditioner to heating mode." Another said, "The day before yesterday, an elderly man in our village died of heat stroke, and 3 people died in one day in our village." Other Shandong netizens added, "2 farmers in our village died from the heat, one of them a man around 40. An elderly person in our village died because they had no air conditioner. 4 people have died here. All of them worked in factories or fields, Sai. And I know someone who died from the heat at the Manzhuang steel market." Netizens across regions report multiple deaths from heat, accuse authorities of falsifying weather reports. Netizens from Yunnan, Jiangsu, and Guangdong said 3 or 4 cases of heat stroke among friends and family, not a single one survived. "Someone in my village just died from the heat, and several people in the neighboring village too. And heat stroke. Just now a 30-year-old coworker of mine died." A Shandong netizen criticized, "Everyone knows the weather reports never say it's over 40 degrees C. We're practically roasted, but it's still 39 degrees to them." And, "The official report says it's 38 degrees C, but in reality, ground-level temperatures under the sun are well over 40 or 50 degrees. A Zhejiang netizen added, "Even though it clearly exceeded 40 degrees C, they're still fabricating fake forecasts." Other netizens lamented, "Even if livestock died en masse, the herders wouldn't care." And, "Heat stroke only seems to happen to the poor." Some even warned, "This is a perfect time for organ harvesting. Everyone needs to stay vigilant." Heatwave continues in Shandong, Henan, and other regions. According to mainland Chinese media, multiple students at Nanshan College in Yantai, Shandong, suffered heat stroke. There are reports that one student died after emergency treatment failed. A student at the college stated, "Someone literally died from the heat at our school. The school isn't allowing anyone to talk about it. Anyone who posts online gets disciplined immediately. Someone actually died." A dormitory manager at Qingdao University is also suspected to have died from heat stroke. In a high school in Yantai, 121 students were reportedly showing symptoms of heat stroke. The public widely suspects that the Chinese Communist Party is covering up the truth about the disaster. Many parts of mainland China are currently experiencing an extraordinarily rare and extreme heat wave. As of the afternoon of July 4th, a total of 754 high-temperature warning signals had been issued nationwide, with temperatures in many areas exceeding 40 degrees C. According to reports on July 8th, in the coming week, the areas most severely affected by heat will include Shandong, Henan, Hebei, Hubei, Anhui, and Xinjiang. In particular, the central and western regions of Shandong, the central and southern parts of Henan, and northern Hubei will likely continue to suffer extreme heat at levels rarely seen in July. Among major cities, Jinan is forecast to have extreme heat every day for the coming week, with not only scorching daytime highs but also nighttime lows approaching 30 degrees C, creating a prolonged and oppressive heat. I'm 37, and I've achieved nothing. Every day, I'm hounded by debt collectors. I just paid off one loan, and another is due tomorrow. I checked my card balance. It's not enough. How did my life spiral into this mess? If I hadn't burned through money chasing dreams, investing recklessly, living without restraint, I wouldn't be here. But what's the use of crying now? Tears won't pay the bills. At best, they'll just unearth the emotions I've buried for too long. In China, debt is no longer a burden. It's a way of life. According to the People's Bank of China and the National Bureau of Statistics, by the end of 2024, over 800 million Chinese citizens were in debt. And it's the young, those born in the 80s and 90s, who shoulder 85% of it. Today, let's talk about this crushing reality. Hello, People's Court. I'm a 37-year-old single mother from Tangshan, Hebei. I've lived honestly all my life. I once rushed to repay a debt of just a few hundred yuan overnight. I never imagined that one failed business and a string of blind investments would leave me drowning in 1.8 million yuan of debt. I remember it vividly. Within months, I was blacklisted. The last tens of thousands of yuan in my account were frozen. I even had to borrow from neighbors just to keep the lights on. When you first fall into debt, you still want to repay it. But once you're labeled dishonest, factories won't hire you. I tried street vending, only to find my payment code was blocked. Debt doesn't just ruin your credit, it freezes your life. I owe over 800,000 yuan. All of it is overdue. Alipay, banks, private lenders. For more than 3 months, I've been alone, spiraling. I get dozens of collection calls every single day. The pressure is unbearable. It almost destroyed me. My company collapsed. I lost my home. I was laid off. I'm 35. My name is Yan Zi, and I have nothing left. I once helped many people, but when I asked to borrow just 500 yuan, no one came through. It's midnight, and I'm still wandering the streets. No money, nowhere to go, barely 100 yuan in my pocket. If not for my younger sister, I'd have no roof over my head tonight. There are 920 million people in China with debt. Yes, you read that right. 920 million, and 450 million of them can't pay it back. That means for every 2 people you see on the street, 1 is financially drowning. Shocking? Maybe, but this is our reality. And here's the strange part. The ones who owe hundreds of millions seem to live better than us. The ones who owe hundreds of thousands. Blogger. A Tao Tao said she's in debt 400,000 yuan, and every day feels like the sky is falling. The court is closing in, but she's never dealt with this before. She thought about hiring a lawyer, but she can't even afford one. I was born in 1999. I owe 400,000 yuan, and the pain eats away at me every day. Why? I co-signed loans for my father, 100,000 and 300,000 yuan, and it ruined me. A few months ago, he fell from a 2-story building while working and crushed his foot. He couldn't work, couldn't juggle his loans, and everything fell apart. I make just a few thousand yuan a month. I still support my younger brother, so I can't save a thing. I even borrowed 70,000 yuan to help my dad repay his debts, paying 20,500 yuan monthly. My salary vanishes the moment it comes in. I don't eat well. I don't buy anything. I've lived frugally for years. Now everything is crumbling. The court hearing for the 100,000 yuan loan is next week. The 300,000 yuan one sends threatening texts every month. Every notification shakes me to the core, but what can I do? I can't pay it back. Every penny I save is a drop in the ocean. In addition, I broke up in May. The breakup, deep down, wasn't about love. It was about my reality, my collapsing family, my growing debts. He wanted marriage, stability, a simple partner to live a quiet life with. But I was already broken, burdened, and far from ordinary. I didn't qualify for the life he wanted. So, we let go.
Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. We will keep reporting on the COVID surge in China, so don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell to get the latest videos. And thank you for tuning in.